Temptations versus trials, and this is part 6. And in this presentation today, we're going to take a look at imagination and temptation. And in the previous presentation, we looked at the fact that yes, we must endure the temptation. When we are tried, we receive a crown of life. There is a reward for endurance. And we also took a look at the fact that though God may orchestrate the trial, it's the devil who vindictively tempts you to exploit the weaknesses that are already existing within your nature. And through the trial, God is seeking to bring glory to his name and to elevate you in your relationship with him when you endure that trial. But today we want to take a specific look back at the same foundational text of James chapter 1 verse 12 to 16 that we studied in the previous presentation. And we don't want to focus on the fact that the devil tempts us, but we want to understand today, beloved, that we can tempt our own selves and that we can create for our own self through being drawn away by our own personal lusts and illicit desires, a series of trials and temptations that were not orchestrated by God for us. We can bring an experience in our life that is wholly and completely unnecessary because we tempted our own selves. So let's take a look at James chapter 1. And it says in James chapter 1 from verse 12 to 16, "Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that loved him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man, but every man is tempted, every person is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed." So beloved, do you see that we can tempt our own self when we are drawn away by our own personal lusts, our own personal desires, and we are enticed? Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. When lust has conceived with opportunity, because we were lusting and desiring the things that we should not lust and desire because we are drawn away by them, they were made to look attractive to us and we are enticed by them, and given the opportunity to do it, it now brings forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, it brings forth death. And we're encouraged in verse 16, "Do not err, my beloved brethren. And wherewith shall we not allow ourselves to err? Do not err, my beloved brethren. Do not err in your imagination." So there's a relationship between imagination and temptation, and it's a direct relationship. But what does the word imagination mean? Imagination, the root word of the word imagination is image. So the term imagination, it comes from the Latin verb imaginary, which means to picture oneself, to form an image. So imagination is you forming an image of something. It's the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not present to the senses, beloved. And these are definitions of the word imagination. Imagination is the faculty of imagining or of forming mental images or concepts of what is not actually present to the senses. The action or process of forming such images or concepts is the act of imagination. So when you take a look at what James chapter 1 says, when it says, "But every man," in verse 14, is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust. Lust is an act of using the imagination to desire someone or something that is not for you. So you're drawn away by your own personal, internal, mental mental desire for something. And when lust is conceived, when the opportunity is given to you to act upon what you were thinking about, the mental picture of you seeing yourself committing that act with another individual that is not yours to have, it brings forth sin, and it is called adultery. And when sin, when it is finished, it bringeth forth death. It can bring forth the death of your marriage, the death of your relationship, the death of your family, the death of opportunity, the death of your work in all. So this is why in verse 16 it says, do not err, my beloved brethren. Do not err in your imagination. This is why Jesus said, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart, because this he has committed this act in his imagination. And when it is held in our imagination, it simply waits for the opportunity to do it. And the only thing that is lacking is the opportunity to do it. So we can cause ourselves to be tempted based upon us imagining the wrong things. Imagining the wrong things. So the relationship between imagination and temptation, beloved, is direct. This is where we can make a success, or this is where we can make a failure in our relationship with God, beloved. And this is how the devil got Eve to sin. This is how the devil got Eve to fall, because he manipulated and he enticed her imagination by creating a desire for something that was not to be for her. This is why in Genesis chapter 3 verse 5 to 6 we read in his conversation with her, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, he assaulted her imagination. He caused the tree of knowledge of good and evil to look attractive, and she did not view it as attractive before, and he made it look attractive. He enticed her with it, and then she saw it. Where did she see it? She saw it in her imagination that she was supposed to get something good from this tree that God was trying to withhold from her. And so he used her imagination to cause her to fall. And the devil uses our imagination to cause us to fall by bombarding our mind with images. And when he implants those images in our mind and we hold on to those images, he causes our demise, and then he presents us opportunities to act upon the images that we have been holding in our minds, and we fall. And we must understand the victory in your life as a Christian, the victory in your life as a child of God is first gained in your imagination, and it is extremely important. This is why Genesis chapter 6 verse 5, it says, and God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that what? Every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So when the faculty of you forming mental images in your mind of things that not yet are, but that can be, once they are given the opportunity to be, when that faculty is corrupted, beloved, because imagination is the foundation of reality. Once we imagine it, we can do it. When we think it, we can act upon it and we can perform it. So when the faculty of imagination is corrupted, it brings corruption in the life, it brings corruption in society, and this is where the devil gets us, beloved. And if you read Genesis 11 verse 6, God repeats the same principle. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. So God is telling you that you can accomplish anything that you imagine to do. The devil knows this, and this is why he bombards our senses on a daily basis with lustful images, lustful stressful scenarios to cause us to lust after sin. The reason why sin is so rampant in this world today is because of the imagination of man being wicked continually and bringing forth only evil images that create evil imaginings. And this is why in Philippians chapter 4 verse 18 it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Philippians chapter 4 tells us that the secret to victory as a Christian is only setting before you that which is good, that you can meditate upon it and form good images. If you want to live a victorious Christian life, beloved, if you want to live a pure life, you put pure things before you to meditate, to contemplate on, and you see yourself living a victorious Christian life, and the opportunities will be given you to overcome, to live the victorious Christian life. But if you do not see yourself living a victorious Christian life, it is impossible, because God has told you the key to victory and success in this world, in this life, which is using your imagination. In order to live a pure life, put pure things before you. And this is why David said, I set no evil thing before my eyes. This is your key to victory, beloved. Imagination can create unnecessary temptations for you, or imagination can create great victories. Choose this day how you would cause your imagination to serve your life. This is the Word of Life with Andre Knight.